Alright, did that work? No? Yes? Oh, my stream info is completely incorrect. Oh no! Broadcast created. This is a nightmare. I guess this works. Okay, I can see myself on X. I think I just do it like this. X didn't work? Streamplace isn't live. YouTube. YouTube's live. Okay, it's just my Twitch details are completely off. Alright. Software and game dev. That's actually what I want to be. Alright. What's up, Nate's Code? It's been a minute. It has been a minute since a Nate stream, that is for sure. I'm literally just getting everything set up. This is I guess I should post a blast off on tweeters. The only bummer is I don't think stream.place worked. It looks like it's running, but... What is my YouTube channel? That, okay. Alright, well, at least we're live on Twitch, we're live on YouTube, and we're live on X. Maybe. I'm getting a media can't be played. It is very, extremely possible I misconfigured stuff. Streamplace was when I was testing out today, though. This would be my first time streaming to the @protocol. I cannot tell. I can check on my phone, I guess. Holy. Wait up. Hold up. Yeah, the X one is just busted. It's not working. It ain't working. Alright, I guess I can just close that out then. Alright, so let's just stop X and Streamplace. because I messed up settings clearly, and those were busted. But otherwise, how's everybody doing? How does the setup sound? How does it look? How does it feel? How is your Saturday? How are the vibes? I need to get you here. That's where I need chat. At least Twitch chat. What's up, Joel? Good to see you, dude. Alright, I'm going to put YouTube chat here. This is actually super clutch if I can do it right without screwing it up, which is a huge ask. Full screen. I just want chat here, though. Hold up. What's like the chat pop out? I want the Twitch pop out URL. Oh, hope y'all can't hear me hearing myself. Oh no, I have stinking. Bleh. There we go. Pop out. Paste. Cool. Now I can see chat over here. All right. How's everyone doing? Standard pointer. Good to see you. No audio echo. Sorry, I'm so late. Yep, this should be better. Stupid camera thinks it gets an audio channel. Get out of here, camera. Oh, green screen messes with the mic. Oh, this is so hard to see while I change it. That's not it. Does that look better? And then me and Mac. Hey, that placement's decent. Seems to work. Dylan, what is up, dude? Wonder what the website behind you is. Yeah, you know what it is. It's Agents Week, dude. Jason, so good to see you. All right, fix the audio. Sorry, everyone. Apologies for breaking your brain and ears with that echo. Oh, Shreyas, good to see you. Somewhere else, it is... No. It was just Mike on the camera. Like, wow, look at this guy. No, yeah, my Twitch was definitely drunk. Is that better on the... Got the chat on the prompter now? All right, so my setup is wild now. I need to flip. I need this Stream Deck to work because if I'm on my Mac... Rodecaster Duo secondary. No, the mic should be working. I am so tripping. Do you only hear music? Jason, was it out for a bit or is Jason just totally drunk, guys? Also, let me know if my mic is too loud. Oh, it's probably a little too loud. Let's do some more Connor Price. About a minute. Odd. I don't know why that changed. Okay, interesting. Oh, it's when I switched to the Mac. That's not ideal. That's not good. That's not good. So confused. Okay, so when I switch to the Mac, it definitely dies. Why does it do that? That is not good. Oh, shoot, that's... Oh, no, that's also not good. There's a lot of not good stuff. Dang. No. Everything is going horribly wrong. Ah! Okay, we good. Oh goodness, I can't even tell. Okay, my phone's legit about to die. And I was gonna use that. I was gonna use that thing. So what the heck is going on with this stupid audio? So when it switches computers, audio isn't running through that at all. So why does the PC stop sending audio? But the music keeps going. So it's one channel that it stops sending. Well, that just makes no sense. Wait, Twitter still thinks I'm live. Twitter's drunk. Oh my gosh. That was just a terrible idea to even try. And, okay. Goodness. That is not a good website. Love you, Twitter, but kind of don't. Okay. Who is this suitless person? True. All right, I'm just going to put YouTube chat on my phone because nobody's going to chat on YouTube, so it doesn't matter if I don't see it. But that'll give me something to look at as a sanity check. So I can look down and see how cringe I'm being. Excellent. Johnny Clueless, welcome in, welcome in. How the heck is everyone doing? All right, so I'm going to be looking at some Cloudflare stuff. I don't know if y'all have been following this week that just ended was Cloudflare's Agents Week 2026. Agents Week 2025 was the first year, so this was their second week dedicated to launches of technology that is focused on the use case of agents. What am I trying to find? What am I even doing anymore? I guess this is what I want? Yep, okay, cool. Dude, my brain is going to explode. Shreyas. Yeah, it's true. Everybody hates me on Twitter. Okay, wait, Shreyas, you could hear me when I switched computers? I don't think you can. I think Shreyas is the one that's drunk now, if we're being 100% honest. Yeah, I'm gonna never look. Oh, I have to check if YouTube has music though, because I will get bonked if that's true. Yeah, I'm gonna never look. Oh, I have to check if YouTube has music though. Good. YouTube does not have music. We're good. Yeah, no. So I'll replicate it. It's replicatable, I'm sure. So I click. so real right now. Every stream's going to be a setup stream. This is going to be terrible. But the music keeps going, right? Y'all still hear the music? Do you hear me now? Yes, yes. It's back now. No, I could see on OBS when the channel dies. What would it be? My options are... Okay. Main is system sounds. I gotta just ask AI. All right, now how the heck do I do this though? Ooh, I could risk crashing the stream. Let's plug something in and see if it crashes the stream. This will be interesting. Oh no, this is a bad idea. Mistakes have been made. Why? Why did I think this would be smart? All right, and crash. Is it gonna completely crash? Throw off the green screen for sure. Put this back. Alrighty then. Okay. We didn't crash. Still here? Yes. All right, this means two things. Not good, not good. If my stream PC crashed just now, oh, this is... Two needs to go. All right, that's too large though. No jokes, no jokes. We don't joke around here. $1080. 1920 by 1080. Okay. Keep changes. Okay. I think this works. Nope, this doesn't work. What? How? I'm so confused. Wait. What's happening? Yo, this is not... No! What's happening? My cursor gets stuck between monitors because I have a 3-monitor arrangement. I can get it there, and then I can get it there. I can't go directly up. Are you kidding me? What is this display driver nonsense? Oh my gosh, I have to go through the prompter on the side. My cursor has to like... It can't just go directly from the top, my upper monitor to my bottom monitor. How does this make any sense? What if I align this with the bottom? Oh my gosh, this is so bad. Windows display drivers, what are you even doing? Okay, so now I can go from here down, up. I can only go here. Okay, this is what I need. This is what I need. It doesn't like having... Interesting. I had my prompter monitor like between, like on the split between two monitors, and that made it so I couldn't go from the upper monitor to the bottom monitor. Like it put a barrier. The side monitor has to be fully within another monitor. Okay. Goodness. Who needs display drivers? Hey, Dev, what's up? Hey, you have this t-shirt as well? Yeah, dude, I love this t-shirt, but I'm a total poser because I wasn't even at this event. I just DM'd Michelle, and I sent her, like, $5 for shipping and got an extra shirt. And I won't even be at my React Miami this week, although you might think this would be a React Miami hype stream. It is not. I'm going to Miami to go to the AI Engineer Conference. but I got to get back for family and stuff by like Thursday. So not going to be there for React Miami, sadly, unfortunately. I'll be there the first day, or does it start Friday? I don't know. Oh, I need to take a picture of how cringe I am for a Twitter post about streaming. No, let's not do that. Let's go ahead and actually do the opposite of that. Oh, you're missing React Miami? I mean, it's hard to go, dude. Like, it's tough to line it up, especially with work stuff, family stuff, but yes, I'm gonna see Dylan. Dylan, you said you're flying in tomorrow, dude. I'm on West Coast time. Like, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. is not too late for me to go out. React Miami is a convention for Angular users. That's absolutely right. So, all right, my problem is if I switch to my Mac, which I was planning on doing all of my work on, apparently we just completely lose audio, at least for my microphone. So, before I can even start the stupid... All right, what's PC? Okay, that should be right. Yeah? Okay. Okay. That's the correct one. So then... Why is that up there? Why is it so small? No. No. There, it was on the prompter. That's why. Okay. All right, so this is my PC. I guess we're legit doing a setup stream. This is very sad, though, because I was so hyped for getting into Cloudflare stuff. I mean, we can still go through the Agents Week things. I can use Excalibur, I can use a browser. This should be chill, but I do have to think about... What? Okay, so we can do this browser for like developer week. No. Here we go. Oh, no. I don't want to log in. Hold up. Wait, what am I doing? Oh, that was almost bad. I mean, it was an incognito tab, so it would have been fine. Launch week, the blog. You can tell I've been developing on Cloudflare a lot because I instinctually just hit login to go to the dashboard the second I hit their website. All right, where's the blog? I just want the blog. I don't think the actual Agents Week blog post listed all of the launches. So we're going to want to open up this. And then, yeah, I'm like, I'm so washed, dude. Dude, frickin'. I am such a bandwagon fan, but the Kendrick and Drake beef got me so into Kendrick. It was so funny. All right. Oh, this song's kind of dope. Let's do C2C. All right. Agents Week tag at the bottom. It'll filter for it. Okay. Well, it has follow along link, which is the blog. Agents Week tag. Boom. Okay. That's good. And then workers.cloudflare.com. So this is just the site I need to go. See, I kept looking for like... The SEO's whack, Dylan. I love, dude, this site, workers.cloudflare.com, absolutely gorgeous. I love this product catalog. Holy moly. Just no notes. Absolutely perfect. Well, actually. So what are you looking at? Products / artifacts. Yeah. Okay. This was the only thing I was going to mention, Dylan, but I don't know if it's intentional. This image looks low res. This looks like it's the wrong image. And I couldn't figure out through inspection where the background was coming from. But that was my only other note pre-launch that I didn't send to you because I didn't take a picture. Yeah, the cloud's not ideal. I know Cloudflare can make nice, like, dude, the workers website. Again, this isn't like in SEO, so you're not going to stumble across it. But just this organization of products is so freaking good. I mean, just like what are we saying? What are we doing? This is 100 million times better. It's obviously a different audience. Like, there's different purposes. This is Cloudflare's. This is their bread and butter, right? This is their historic stronghold of products. So it makes sense. I get why their website goes to this, but I don't care about any of this stuff. This is not the stuff that's cool to me, right? Like networking, DDoS protection. Like, this is the stuff most Cloudflare probably makes most of their money off of, and that most people are using when they come to the website. I like that they have an under attack button, by the way. That's a nice little touch I've noticed. It's a UX choice, just like anytime you're under attack, you can get right in there. But this is the products that I care about. This is the products that are freaking awesome. And I'm still so screwed up with my chat. I just have to find the pop out again. All right. Check the cloud at the bottom in dark mode. All right. Do I have to do system dark mode? Am I missing a dark mode control on the website? I don't know if I can do system dark mode because I haven't activated Windows yet. There is that. Wait, I don't have the activate Windows thing. I mean, I would be hiding it if it was there. But normally it says activate Windows in the bottom. Which is why I don't think I can set my system. This song's so good. Okay, so I need activity there. I can do stupid. We have pre-roll, so I can do ads, but ads are stupid. Shared with the right team. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was I think the only feedback I had pre-launch, but I didn't get back to you before launch, so I was just like, I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, this was the other thing. This, if you can trim like a little bit of padding, this first code example would miss. It's so close to not having any scroll. So I would like, I don't know, shrink line size by 0.01 or something to just squeeze out some pixels. This one's fine because it's just a larger code block. This one, like, it's just the URL. I don't know if it's worth breaking that up, right? But a little bit of scrolly. Yeah, artifact's freaking sick. Okay, so we should... The other thing I need, probably last thing I need is... You all are going to recognize it. You know what it is. Of course, we wouldn't be an architecture / dev streamer without... It's the date, 2026... Okay, this needs to not be light mode, though. This, I will blow a gasket if this tries to stay in light mode on me. I'm paying you. I can certainly good. Okay, We got our Excalibur. Of course. Need the Excalibur. Should we be super boring and go with a straight up font? Oh. Comic Sans. Let's go. Is Helvetica going to make me look like a super trendy designer streamer? All right, so first off is we can just straight up go through some of the Agents Week stuff. I don't know if I want to sit and read every blog, although that would be a stream. Reading every Agents Week blog post, that would be a stream. It wouldn't be a short one. Yeah, Windows 11. I'm not a fan. Yeah, we don't have to talk about microslot, but it's not. It is not good. My wife has my old gaming PC. She uses that downstairs now to play Minecraft with our kids, and her PC on boot, there was a point where it was like full screen before you booted, before you were in the OS at all. It was like, you need to upgrade to Windows 11. And I saw that and I was just like, nah. And so I actually think I'm going to probably put Linux on that machine and start trying out gaming on Linux, because I'm not dealing with Windows 11. I'm not putting it on another computer in my house. Like, I just can't. URL is also wrong. Should be .net. Wait, what? What? Workers.cloudflare.net. Sure about that? Cloudflare primary business is effectively fear-mongering. You might be under attack, secure yourself. I mean, that's true for any security company, but I feel like there are people that are way sketchier about that. Like, dude, Cloudflare has 20% of the internet. Like, they actually defend people from attacks. They're not like insurance salesmen that are truly getting people stuff they don't need. If you host on Cloudflare, oftentimes you know if you need to. I've built many websites on Cloudflare in the last year, and every one of them intentionally picked Cloudflare because of DOS protection, and most of them have had at least one attack since they went live. So I'm grateful for Cloudflare, and I don't see it as fear-mongering because it's legit. GCP does it constantly. Vercel does it too. Yeah. I mean, anybody who offers those services, if you think about it, if you put a marketing person and a salesperson on a security product, what is their strategy going to be to sell that product to more people? Demonstrate value to the customer. Like, that's just going to be 101. It's unfortunate, but it's how the world works. All right, so the original Agents blog post. I need to get these. All right, so these are my two. In fact, all right. This is probably a reasonable way to do it. Okay. So basically the question is, do I want to do this first? Because I don't want to. Like, we'll be honest, right? We can be real with each other. I don't want to debug stream stuff. It would go along with the meme that every stream I do is a setup stream. So small bonus there, I guess. I'm totally going to dox myself if I open up Cloud on stream, though. Cowork for Windows. No, thank you. All right. This is fine. Hey, Claude, I'm streaming. Okay. I'm streaming using a... It doesn't matter that I'm currently streaming. Why is brain no work? Alright. I'm streaming using a MVP plus PC with a frick. KVM. I'll just go to Amazon. I don't want to go to Amazon. I do want to go to Amazon. I don't want to go to Amazon. Recently started using Cloud as a person working solo. It's been the lost coworker I've always wanted. It makes a lot of mistakes, but between the two of us, it has stepped up my game. I like that perspective because I feel like that's the value I've gotten out of Claude and Codex, because I only code with GPT 5.4. I'll be straight up. I've been so disappointed with Opus for coding recently. It's not worth it. Codex is just absolute chef's kiss. Specifically, Codex desktop app on Mac. Codex.app. It is just, it's a good harness. It's a good harness. It's a good diff viewer. It's good Git UI. It just does what I need to, and that's been my like daily driver for anything code related. I am tinkering with a lot of different harnesses. So I've been using Pi. I've been using T3 Code. I've been using Solo. Aaron Francis made an app that's pretty cool, although I do think it's a little better suited to the Rails ecosystem. It makes sense the Rails person made that app because it's very helpful for Rails projects, I think. But yeah, I just use Codex with 5.4, and I have an agents.md that's, I don't even know if it's wired up. I might not have an agents.md, but I have Astra MCP and Cloudflare MCP, and that's it. Like, that's my whole harness. I do want to experiment more with Planotator. All right, but let's see if we can just figure this out quickly. With a KVM, that's what I was going to do. I was going to figure out what KVM... Like, I could go downstairs and get the box that the KVM came in, or I could look at the bottom of it. Watch me unplug, crash the entire stream. Oh my gosh, what's the... Let's see if this comes up with it, because it's... I can't even remember the company name. This is so bad, but I can't log into Amazon, and I threw away the box, I think, just now. No, just give me model names. There, that was it. Shut up. I'm using the mic output from the secondary channel on the Rodecaster, and the problem is when it works great when I'm using the PC. The problem is when I switch to the Mac, the mic channel specifically on OBS goes mute and stops sending. The Rodecaster The normal audio channel continues to work, but mic output stops. What could be causing this? And how can I fix it? All right, if this takes 5 minutes, we'll do this. If not, we'll just move on. I just won't use the Mac this stream, because whatever. Makes me angry. Dude, take it easy, Shreyas. Have fun messing with OBS. Mark, what's up? Good to see you, dude. But yeah, I like what Johnny Clueless was saying about Claude as a coworker, because that is something I felt has helped with me. Like it's perfect as a rubber duck. When I'm thinking through a problem, when I'm starting from a blank page, it's really nice to do that. My green screen's still wacky, huh? Frickety frick. Is it messed up or am I hallucinating? How's this look? Is the mic messed up again? All right. That looks better. Okay. It's a USB audio device with multiple virtual channels. You're on the PC. OBS seeing the Rodecaster directly over USB and pulling the mic from the secondary channel. You switch KVM to the Mac. The Rodecaster's USB. No. What's wrong? The USB from the Rodecaster goes directly in. Oh, wait. Is Claude right? Am I the dummy? Claude's right. I'm the dummy. The Mac side of the Rodecaster is going through the KVM, but the PC is directly routed from Rodecaster PC. Yes, that obviously changes it. This is all slop. Slop, you're wrong. You're wrong. You didn't clarify. You didn't do the right question. Freaking 4.7, dude. Do I need to go back to 4.6? Dummy. What's your freaking... Oh, it's adaptive thinking. I mean, that's off, so it's not even thinking, but yeah. 4.7 life. Dude, this is such a wall of text. It's reshuffling routing based on USB 2 state. The cleanest fix is to lock the mic to a dedicated hardware output on the Rodecaster, one of the 1.4 TRS outputs, or a microphone out, and feed that on a line in into a line in on the PC, either a separate USB interface or a motherboard. Then the mic path to OBS has nothing to do with routing on the Rodecaster at all. This is the same option. Okay, a TRS output, so I'd be sending like... That's so annoying. If you find the max USB connection is the trigger, you could just not route the max audio through the Rodecaster over USB at all. But, ooh. Yes. I can do that. There's one USB-C port left. Hold up. Nope, that was the wrong cable. I unplugged the wrong thing. Oh no. Why did I unplug? test. Sorry if that was... My image sort of fuzzy. Oh, you mean... Oh, yeah, green screen. Is green screen freaking changing on me? What's going on here? What's going on? Now I don't want to switch to the... It's so much harder to debug this. Okay, if it's fuzzy... No, I need a background. What? If it's fuzzy... Is it just the mic? Okay. We just do this then. Whatever. It's a bummer. It's such a complicated setup, but... do I try one more time? We'll try one more thing, but I'm not vibe debugging. Okay, so in progress. Agents make blog post. I want to at least go over the intro on this and probably talk through this a little bit. Maybe we can just full read this. What's the time? 8 minute read? We'll see. Is there a dark mode of this website, or am I SOL because I don't have system dark mode? Sorry about that flashbang. I'm also not in the best spot right now, so we will... Boop. Come right over here, chill with the stream agenda. Alright. This works, because this looks like I'm looking at the screen, right? Sure, you know the cars are... Dude, there's like 1 or 2 psychopaths that drive through this neighborhood street next to us like 70 miles an hour. They're insane. They're gonna murder somebody one day. It's so bad. Image cleared up. Yeah, that's a filter. I have a blur filter, so I can do... See, I can do a blurred version, so if I'm doing passwords and stuff, I switch to this. And then this is just me. Or should it have this? And shouldn't it have this? Yes, it should have some kind of background. Can we make like any better background than this? Better than nothing. Alright, but yeah, so we're just gonna do this. Too far from the mic since music is almost as loud as voice. That's a great piece of feedback. I can turn music down a bit. Is music gone? Is it still playing? I can be better about the mic. Alright, so last week was Agents Week at Cloudflare, and what that means is they lined up a bunch of products to announce, and not all of them are released, so several are announced for like a private beta or public preview, but they launched a lot. And last year, 2025, was the first Agents Week, and that was... Let's see if we can get that blog post up. Nope. Developer Week? AI Week? I think it was AI Week last year. Do I have a second mic somewhere? Sounds like it's not the mic in front of you, but perhaps on another device? No. No. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. ASMR stream. It's time for an ASMR stream. Can you hear my voice now? Test 1 2. Can you hear my voice now? Wait, does this fix the mic thing? Hold up. Did I just... Am I a genius? Am I a genius? I think that fixed it. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Can you hear me? I can also test myself. You can hear me. The mic works. The mic's working. Okay. We can develop. Do I want to Excalibur? I don't know if this is going to let me. This is where I need my Stream Deck to be working so that I can actually change scenes while I'm working on the Mac. This fixed it, though. This fixed it. This fixed it. It is a big deal. So now we switch back to me in the Mac. We can do me and Mac blurred while I get it set up, and then we just need to pull up Excalibur, and then we'll be good to go. And I wanted to play music again. And this works because I should lower the music for myself a little bit as well. Yeah, that should be better. How's the music level? Music level's good. Okay, that's awesome. That's super good. Super good news. And then, yeah, it's just this stupid Stream Deck. If I pull up the app, does it fix itself? Yeah, I need a better cable. OBS Studio. Scene transition. Scene transition. Scene transition. This is going to be me. Dude, if OBS... install update. Okay, that would be perfect, because then I can go to the blurred. Right now I have to go back to the PC, swap my monitor over just to unblur blur. Came here for the teardown stream, very disappointed. Teardown? What am I tearing down? No shot. Update error. Wonderful. We love Elgato software. Yeah, this isn't working, so I just need a better cable. Hold. All right, we're set up streaming hard today. Yep, can't take that out. Shoot. Oh no. No. Boom there. I don't think I have a USB spot open. That's very sad. Shoot. Okay, tell me one of these USBs is not being used. Nope, they're all being used. Shoot! Wait, maybe? Unless? This one's not. Duh, because this is what was plugged in before. I'm a genius. Can you hear me? Oh no. We're good. We're good. We're golden. We're good. If this works, it works. If it doesn't work, and that would be sad. But that would make me a sad Nate. All right. Cool. And you will now work magically. A lot more pajamas on the stream than I was expecting. Yes, it works. It works. All right. Tell me this can actually connect to OBS now. No. Dog, come on. Anyways, that didn't work. All right. Now we get logged in over here. We pull this up. All right, it's pink when it's not focused. That's pretty cool. Just needs a little 3-in-1 oil. We'll do purple. Green. Okay, cool. Cool. Transform. Flip horizontal. Okay, this was kind of clutch. I'm actually kind of really stoked this worked. All right, test 1, 2. Y'all can hear me still? Excellent. Am I not live on YouTube? I am live on YouTube, but nobody's chatting on YouTube. Figures. That is what we could have expected, but I'll still split them up here. The off chance anybody comes into YouTube, they won't. All right. Cool. Scroll back to content. All right. We put this up here. Can we cross this out? All right. So now we can do the Agent Suite blog. Finally. All right. So this week, Cloudflare had Agents Week. And this was absolutely packed with a bunch of incredible product launches. I've definitely been a Cloudflare nerd and fanboy in the last year. I've been using Cloudflare infrastructure for a lot of projects. I work at a consultancy, so we build web and mobile applications for clients. We have a ton of clients we've deployed on Cloudflare. The most notable example was we actually deployed for a client who ran a Super Bowl ad campaign. And that client, obviously Cloudflare was a great choice because of their performance. their edge network, their CDN, their caching. There's so many reasons. It was like, all right, we're going to build this thing. It's a crazy project. We got it all deployed. But yeah, been using a lot of Cloudflare's platforms and infra for the last year in my work and personal projects. And generally, I'm just a fan of what Orange Cloud Company makes. Digital objects, I think, is one of the coolest primitives we've seen in the web in the last decade, and very misunderstood at initial launch, but it's still such a creative and unique piece of tech for the web. And a lot of what they're doing now, I think, is very, very exciting. 100K request artifacts in the past 12 hours, only 2 errors, not too shabby. Nice. Well, did you fix the worker D setup so I can, or the Wrangler setup, I mean, so I can make it from a worker and not an HTTP request? Because I definitely broke that last night. Agents Week. This year, during Agents Week, Cloudflare announced several pieces of technology I'm very excited about. Probably at the top of the list would be workers.cloudflare.com/product/artifacts. Very excited about this product. This was made by my friend Dylan, who is actually in chat right now. RIP Wrangler. Yeah, the CFCLI. Yep, that is one I should read. Cloudflare announced several exciting pieces of tech during Agents Week 2026. Top of my list personally is Cloudflare Artifacts, the Cloudflare CLI, and Project Think, although there are several. AI Agent Memory was another one that I really want to play with, because this solves a problem I was just working on myself at work. But Agent Memory, the Cloudflare CLI, and Project Think. See if it gets that. Awesome. So there are not just a lot of gaps that Cloudflare is filling this week. I mean, they even announced an email service product. They didn't announce anything related to auth, did they? But they announced an email service product. They announced dynamic workers recently, which is perfect for running agents. And of course, this week they announced and released a lot of tech that is specifically built around and for agents to use. So we'll start with reading through a bit of this launch blog post, and then I might hop around a little bit, might clip these up, might make different videos, who knows. But I'll just start with reading the Agent Suite post because it's really solid. So this is written by Rita Kozlov and Dane Knecht. If you don't know, Dane is the CTO of Cloudflare. Rita is the VP of AI and apps, I believe. VP developers and AI. That's what it is. So Rita has been at Cloudflare for a while. She's written a lot of these blog posts, done a lot of these product launches, VP product. But yes, and then Dane is the CTO of Cloudflare. So that's who's writing this blog post. And they start off by saying, Cloudflare's mission has always been to help build a better internet. Sometimes that means building for the internet as it exists. Sometimes it means building for the internet as it's about to become. Today, we're kicking off Agents Week, dedicated to building the internet for what comes next. The internet wasn't built for the age of AI, neither was the cloud. The cloud, as we know it, was a product of the last major technological paradigm shift, smartphones. When smartphones put the internet in everyone's pocket, they didn't just add users, they changed the nature of what it meant to be online. RIP. Always connected, always expecting an instant response. Applications had to handle an order of magnitude more users, and the infrastructure powering them had to evolve. The approach the industry converged on was straightforward. More users, more copies of your application. As applications grew in complexity, teams broke them into smaller pieces, microservices, so each team could control its own destiny. An interesting and fun period of history. But the core principles stayed the same. A finite number of applications, each serving many users. Scale meant more copies. If I think about this, microservices were always rough, man. I remember when Lambda launched, and hey, what's up, Chad Dev? Good to see you. Good to see you. When they first launched Lambda, it was solid. I think it was great tech at the time for a solid use case that a lot of people could have used in better ways. It really did enable this kind of serverless approach, which I think is better for microservices to build with thinner and simpler primitives. But the reality of microservices just became so much coordination overhead. There's a bunch of technical problems in implementing microservices, deploying microservices, scaling microservices, sharing API services between teams. It can work very well in the right environment, and I think Netflix is probably a easy off the top of the head example. Primeagen has talked about this. Trash Dev has talked about this. There's a hilarious video made by what's his name? Oh my gosh, what's the Vim developer in 2026 YouTube videos? Anyways, but yeah, everybody knows about microservices. They know the memes about microservices. I don't think the tech was terrible. I don't think it's what's going to get us to the next evolution of what technology is doing right now. And there's just so many challenges still. I mean, cold starts, the cost of starting one up. So we'll get into that more in the Cloudflare distinction kind of. But microservices is like a trigger word for a lot of people. If you've worked in industry between 2010 to 2020, it's just like, ooh, there can be a lot of trauma that comes up with that. But this right here, I think, is the core point. Like, this was the core value of microservices, was having teams be able to operate independently and develop independently and have very safe contracts for how parts of the system for a very large distributed system could interact with each other. I've long preferred simpler approaches. So I have not built many microservice-based architectures or applications. Some of them I wouldn't even refer to. It's like not stuff with lambdas, but stuff with like distributed tech, like queues and things like that. Where I would say there's like, you can kind of call it microservices, but it's not what this word means to so many people in the industry. The core principle stayed the same. Whatever, I already read that. Kubernetes and containers became the default. They made it easy to spin up instances. Kubernetes and containers became the default. They made it easy to spin up instances, load balance, and tear down what you didn't need. Under this one-to-many model, a single instance could serve many users, and even as user counts grew into the billions, the number of things you had to manage stayed finite. Agents break this. This is their big hypothesis. This is the interesting part. It's a scaling problem because of agents. There is so much more code in the world and being created, and the velocity and acceleration have both been ramping up so much. And you can see this with GitHub. I mean, look at GitHub's history, GitHub's track record in the last year. You can blame vibe coding if you want to, and there's definitely inslopification that's happened with GitHub, but they're also just having major outages. I mean, GitHub uptime tracker. This is just so depressing. This is the one. They're under 90% uptime. And this is, there's arguments about what they, count here, because this covers a lot of different things. So this isn't realistically like your infrastructure or your core systems or core pieces you're using, but there are a lot of critical things. I mean, disruptions with GitHub notifications with some services. I mean, this could be preventing deploys. Like, GitHub issues are a problem when your business runs on GitHub. Even if only Actions is down, if you are a development team using GitHub Actions, that downtime really matters. And seeing this anywhere below 90 is just like horrifying. So the common and the popular line is GitHub sucks because of vibe coding. The more, I think, realistic and balanced line is that GitHub sucks because they are handling scale they have never handled before. And that's what Cloudflare is discussing here. So one user, one agent, one task. Unlike every application that came before them, agents are one-to-one. Each agent is a unique instance serving one user running one task. Each agent is a unique instance serving one user running one task. Where a traditional application follows the same execution path regardless of who's using it, an agent requires its own execution environment, one where the LLM dictates the code path, calls tools dynamically, adjusts its approach, and persists until the task is done. Think of it as the difference between a restaurant and a personal chef. A restaurant has a menu, a fixed set of options, and a kitchen optimized to churn them out at volume. That's most applications today. An agent is more like a personal chef who asks, what do you want to eat? They might need entirely different ingredients, utensils, or techniques each time. You can't run a personal chef service out of the same kitchen setup you'd use for a restaurant. Over the past year, we've seen agents take off, with coding agents leading the way. Not surprisingly, since developers tend to be early adopters. The way most coding agents work today is by spinning up a container to give the LLM what it needs: a file system, Git, Bash, and the ability to run arbitrary binaries. But coding agents are just the beginning. Tools like Claude Cowork are already making agents accessible to less technical users. Once agents move beyond developers into the hands of everyone, administrative assistants, research analysts, customer service reps, personal planners, the scale math gets sobering fast. So it's not just the capability of creating more code, tools that create more code, that generate more code in raw volume, but it's also an expanding user base. We have more people, more producers of code using these tools. So it's like a double acceleration, which I think is relevant. I definitely prefer working on micro instead of monolith. That'd be annoying with everyone's commits to one repo. There are mitigating factors with a lot of tech recently. I mean, it doesn't take too much, but with good branch discipline and project management, and it's more about project management than anything. But it also depends what you're building, right? For web tech, it's easy. If you have just like a bunch of node stuff, package.json, that's pretty easy. I won't pretend, what you're building could be way more unreasonable in a mono repo. I got a line to this blog post. The reference to the attention is all you need research paper. Nice. Agentic engineering is OP in mono repo. Yes, that I think is true. There's a lot of project structure and code writing techniques. Hey, Matthew Clark on YouTube. What is up, Matthew? Oh man, go. Good to see you, dude. Yeah, I think there's a lot of frameworks I don't like that have a lot of structure and convention that agents are actually very good at operating inside of. And monorepo is an example of that. I had a marketing agency build a website. We were collaborating. So we were collaborating with a marketing agency for one client. And these marketing guys are using Replit now. And they're just full on building production websites in Replit. And I was responsible for one build out. And he had just built this like landing page, very straightforward. Nothing too crazy, but for some reason Replit decided to make it a PNPM workspace repo. And so it was a PNPM mono repo, but it wasn't using two of the artifacts. Like all the things I did was with web artifact. There was one artifact in there I used and the other two were never even built. It was like a prototyping space kind of tool and then an API server. And the API server was not used. We just had one email form on the site. So it's interesting, but the fact that Replit decided to reach for a PNPM monorepo was fascinating for me. But I do think it helps them in a lot of ways. If you are building a monorepo, it allows an agent, not just for changing multiple pieces, but it allows an agent to like diagnose problems better because it's very easy for it to just go and look at the API server's code. So if you're in the front end, the agent can very quickly inspect the actual contracts and implementations on the back end because you have a monorepo. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Monorepos help a lot for agents. All right, where did I start? Where did I end? The scale math gets sobering fast. I got that. The math. I need to drink water. I need to eat. Oh, goodness. I need to eat some chocolate-covered coffee beans. That might have been too many. Sorry, I realized I made that an ASMR stream for a minute there without thinking about it. I was just chewing directly into the mic. All right, more reading. It's supposed to be 8 minutes. Holy moly, how much more do we have? The math on scaling agents to the masses. Mikey, what up? Good to see you, Mikey. Welcome in, welcome in. The math on scaling agents to the masses. If the more than 100 million knowledge workers in the US each use an agentic assistant at 15% concurrency, you'd need capacity to you'd need You'd need capacity for approximately 24 million simultaneous sessions. At 20 to 50 users per CPU, that's somewhere between 500K and a million server CPUs just for the US with one agent per person. Now picture each person running several agents in parallel. Now picture the rest of the world with more than 1 billion knowledge workers. We're not a little short on compute, we're orders of magnitude away. So how do we close that gap? Infrastructure built for agents. Infrastructure built for agents. 8 years ago, we launched Workers, the beginning of our developer platform and a bet on containerless, serverless compute. The motivation at the time was practical. We needed lightweight compute without cold starts for customers who depended on Cloudflare for speed. Built on V8 isolates rather than containers, Workers turned out to be an order of magnitude more efficient, faster to start, cheaper to run, and natively suited to the spin-up, execute, teardown pattern. What we didn't anticipate was how well this model would map to the age of agents. This is something I think is so cool, is like most of the tech Cloudflare introduced this week is so clearly such a good match, such a fitting solution for the problems the agents propose, for the problems the agents pose. But they were building this stuff for like 10 years, like way before LLMs and agentic coding were ever on the map. Cloudflare was building these very lightweight primitives. And if you ever built on Cloudflare, it's super fun because architecture happens by infrastructure. There is like more application architecture. If I build a from scratch project on Cloudflare, more of my application architecture is in the selection of the infrastructure than like any other way I've built for the web in the past. And that's the thing that I love so much about building on Cloudflare is it's just a bunch of Lego bricks and you stick the right Lego bricks together and you're like less than 500 LOC for a functional application. And it's not because there's like a framework, like an application framework that you're coding in that makes things, has the really efficient boilerplate and all this stuff. Like, no, it's because you have infrastructure pieces that solve problems of distributed applications in 2026. And once you stick all of them together, which is very easy if you're using full Cloudflare platform, most of the application's done. I mean, even more so nowadays that they have email. Like you just have email, auth, database, queue, compute, serverless compute, scheduled compute, and it all connects. You don't have to manage secrets in a lot of cases because you just do bindings and you write a little bit of JavaScript in a workers file and like that's your app. And it's so easy and simple. It's hard to adapt to, I think. I think that's one of the hardest parts of building on Cloudflare is if you have been a Rails dev your whole life, if you have been a Next.js dev your whole life, if you've used one framework and one pattern, or even a lot of them, right? Even if you went from CodeIgniter to Rails to Laravel to, Express and React, like you really haven't been exposed to this approach of architecting and building applications. Because nobody really has done a ton. Like I would say a lot of people did it with AWS primitives. That was where we first saw this kind of like compose application out of infrastructure primitives. Like you can do a lot of that with AWS stuff for sure. But AWS is just like, it feels a little enterprisey in 2026 for me, which obviously it does support probably like 50% of the enterprise in the world. But it's just like things are so heavy. And I think unnecessarily so in 2026. We built artifacts in 3 weeks. Oh my gosh. Dylan in chat works at Cloudflare. Why don't we have your blog post up? Dylan in chat works at Cloudflare. He actually co-wrote the blog post for artifacts and helped build it. And he just said in my chat that they built artifacts in 3 weeks. So that gives you a sense of how powerful the primitives Cloudflare has built are, because so many new features and new technology, like they're literally just building them on the primitives, on durable objects, on the network, on the infrastructure workers. You know, there's so much stuff that Cloudflare has that makes it very easy to cobble very effective tools together quickly. Couldn't have done that anywhere else, IMO. It's unique. It is unique to Cloudflare, I think. Cloudflare is a great middle ground. Perfect for my to-do app. I mean, the thing with Cloudflare is perfect for your to-do app. Because if you want to do a to-do app, you literally just do Astro on a Cloudflare worker. Make a couple React islands. You can SSR it. You can set up you can make your whole backend just a workers file. And it's just like just a couple workers functions. That's your API. Throw in Drizzle if you want with a database, connect R2. But like you can make a very, very simple app very, very quickly on Cloudflare. You can also make a very, very powerful and complex app also fairly quickly on Cloudflare. Like that's the cool thing. I think their DX has matured a lot. Like the ergonomics of working with Cloudflare in the last 4 years has just skyrocketed because they spent a long time, like 2015 to 2020. I feel like Cloudflare did a ton of inventing. That was when durable objects was invented, I think. Am I wrong on this? I should check. No. $2020. So technically I was right. I think it was in early access before that. Dylan says he's really excited for Void Zero to release their Cloudflare web framework. Dude, and that's the other thing is I've mostly talked about Cloudflare infrastructure and primitives, which is very exciting, but there is Cloudflare frameworks. And that is even more exciting, I think, when you get the full picture because the application frameworks Cloudflare has chosen to acquire are incredibly well suited to Cloudflare. The first one, of course, being Astro.build, the second one being Hano. So Astro, if you guys don't know, is my favorite web framework, easily, which is kind of cheating because Astro Islands allows you to actually use all frameworks. So I can say Astro is my favorite framework, and I can use React, I can use Preact, Svelte, Solid, Vue. Vue and the Nuxt.js team, they all made Void Zero recently, and Void Zero is very interesting. So this is like the same people behind Vue, behind what's my favorite thing? OXC, Rolldown, Vitest, Vite, and Vite Plus, which is this new unified toolchain I'm excited about. Hano, though, was created by dude from Japan. What was his name? Yusuke Wada. And I was following him before Cloudflare picked him up. He started building Hano. Hano is a very simple React framework, and it's one of the simplest it is one of the simplest implementations, I believe, of React server components. That's the reason it was really cool like a year or two ago is they were actually tracking and following the RSC implementations and RFCs. The RFCs for RSCs. That's a tongue twister. But it's a very, very cool framework, and both of these frameworks, Astro and Hano, have been acquired by Cloudflare. Astro was just in January this year. Hano was a couple years ago, I forget. But yeah, and I think a lot of bigger companies have been doing this. I think it's a good thing. I think that it's one of the best models and one of the most proven models for supporting open source development. We saw it with Mats, with Ruby for like 10 years, like a decade. The main developer of Ruby was working at Yahoo, right? I think it was Yahoo hired the creator of Ruby because they were making so much Ruby. Who hired Mats? Am I totally wrong? I want to say it was Yahoo. Mats to make Ruby. At Heroku. I don't know why I thought that was Yahoo. But yeah. But a big company using their dollars to provide a consistent salary and benefits to an open source creator, I think is great because it sustains the creation and the maintenance of that framework. It's gives you a safe, consistent base. It gives you assurances. But yeah, Hano's awesome. Astro's awesome. They're both now have their salaries paid by Cloudflare, which I think is awesome. And they just build awesome frameworks that now interpolate with Cloudflare very well as well. All right. Infrastructure built for agents. 8 years ago, we launched Workers, the beginning of our developer platform, and a bet on containerless, serverless compute. The motivation at the time was practical. We needed lightweight compute without cold starts for customers who depended on Cloudflare for speed. Built on V8 isolates rather than containers, Workers turned out to be an order of magnitude more efficient, faster to start, cheaper to run, and natively suited to the spin up, execute, teardown pattern. I already read all of this. Whatever. Take two. What we didn't anticipate was how well this model would map to the age of agents, where containers give every agent a full commercial kitchen, bolted down appliances, walk-in fridges, the works. Whether an agent needs them or not, isolates, on the other hand, give the personal chef exactly the counter space, the burner, and the knife they need for this particular meal, provisioned in milliseconds, cleaned up the moment the dish is served. It really is a very, very powerful primitive. So VMs, Guest is providing a lot of this. Containers, application packages, language runtime are provided by Guest. Isolates, the only thing the Guest provides is the application. Hardware, operating system, JavaScript runtime, WebAssembly runtime, Python runtime, and packages are all part of the platform. You don't have to worry about any of that. You just provide application code. In a world where we need to support not thousands of running applications, but billions of ephemeral, single-purpose execution environments, isolates are the right primitive. Each one starts in milliseconds, each one is securely sandboxed, and you can run orders of magnitude more of them on the same hardware compared to containers. This is a big point. The overhead. Just overhead is so fractionally tiny on an isolate. Just a few weeks ago, we took this further with the dynamic Workers open beta. Execution environments spun up at runtime on demand. An isolate takes a few milliseconds to start and uses a few megabytes of memory. That's roughly 100 times faster, up to 100 times more memory efficient than a container. You can start a new one for every single request, run a snippet of code, and throw it away at a scale of millions per second. For agents to move beyond early adopters and into everyone's hands, they also have to be affordable. Running each agent in its own container is expensive enough that agentic tools today are mostly limited to coding assistance for engineers who can justify the cost. Isolates, by running orders of magnitude more efficiently, are what make per unit economics viable at the scale agents require. That's a very important point. Let's see how everything looks. All right. The horseless carriage phase. While it's critical to build the right foundation for the future, we're not there yet. And every paradigm shift has a period where we try to make the new thing work within the old model. The first cars were called horseless carriages. The first websites were digital brochures. The first mobile apps were shrunken desktop UIs. We are in that phase now with agents. You can see it everywhere. We're giving agents headless browsers to navigate websites designed for human eyes, when what they need are structured protocols like MCP to discover and invoke services directly. Many early MCP servers are thin wrappers around existing REST APIs. Some CRUD operations, same CRUD operations, new protocol. When LLMs are actually far better at writing code than making sequential tool calls. We're using CAPTCHAs and behavioral fingerprinting to verify the thing on the other end of a request, when increasingly that thing is an agent acting on someone's behalf. And the right question isn't, are you human, but which agent are you, who authorized you, and what are you allowed to do? We are spinning up full containers for agents that just need to make a few API calls and return a result. These are just a few examples, but none of this is surprising. It's what transitions look like. I think that's a great point. Like, this is just a major technological shift. We saw it with mobile. We saw it with the web. The thing about bubbles is a bubble has never formed, or a bubble rarely forms around something that has fundamentally no value. Usually when you have a bubble, you have an overinflated market and overhyped investment around technology that will be effective. It's tech that will be transformational, but it doesn't warrant the early justifications. The early adopters and early implementers are not necessarily going to win. They're not necessarily going to survive. And that is why bubbles, you have this economic ebb and flow, but at the same time, the lasting value of the technology created during a bubble often remains. The internet was very impactful. Mobile smartphones and mobile devices, mobile computers really, very impactful to the world of computing, very impactful to human experience. And I think LLMs in the loop, And I think the LLMs as a technological primitive have this power and have this capability, but everybody's figuring it out, right? It's so new, it's so fresh. In some ways, it's old in the technology world, but the ways it's being applied and used at scale are certainly novel in the last 2 years. Building for both. All right, I think we're close done. Building for both. The internet is always somewhere between two eras. IPv6 is objectively better than IPv4, but dropping IPv4 support would break half the internet. HTTP2 and HTTP3 coexist. TLS 1.2 still hasn't fully given way to 1.3. The better technology exists, the old technology persists, and the job of the infrastructure is to bridge both. Ooh, that's a banger. I like that line. This is so true of the real world. This is the problem. This is why COBOL programmers make crazy salaries in 2026. Old technology will always persist. It is the cost of getting enough adoption as a technology. You will have legacy technology exist till the end of time. If enough people are building technology with your stuff will have to be supported forever. I like the idea here that infrastructure is the job to bridge during these transitions, though. Cloudflare has always been in the business of bridging these transitions. The shift to agents is no different. Coding agents genuinely need containers, a file system, Git, Bash, arbitrary binary execution. That's not going away. This week, our container-based sandbox environments are going GA because we're committed to making them the best they can be. We're going deeper on browser rendering for agents because there will be a long tail of services that don't yet speak MCP, and the agents still need to interact with them. These aren't stopgaps. They are part of a complete platform. This is a really strong positioning as well. I like that. They're not just building band-aids for the transition. They're building foundational components for the transition. But we're also building what comes next, the isolates, the protocols, and the identity models that agents actually need. Our job is to make sure you don't have to choose between what works today and what's right for tomorrow. Our job is to make sure you don't have to choose between what works today and what's right for tomorrow. Security in the model, not around it. If agents are going to handle our professional and personal tasks, reading our email, operating on our code, interacting with our financial services, then security has to be built in the execution model, not layered on after the fact. This is also super true and powerful, and one of the things I think is so cool. If you're building on Cloudflare primitives that have no other access and can be thrown away at the drop of a hat and don't need to use environment variables for secrets because they have bindings and they're piping secrets in and other mechanisms, that is so powerful in the world of agents because it just removes a whole category of security It removes a whole category of security considerations an application developer would normally have to be very, very vigilant about implementing, right? You have to care about security. If you build on Cloudflare, it comes by default. I think that's the message that they're going for here, and I think there's a lot of truth behind that. I mean, again, if we look at Cloudflare.com and we look at the products page, security. Cloudflare 1, zero trust access, that's security. Secure web gateway, network as a service, SD-WAN, email security, web application firewall, API security, bot management, CDN, DNS, smart routing, load balancing. Like 50% of the things, 50% of the products advertised on Cloudflare's homepage have to do with security. They've been in this business a while. CISOs have been the first to confront this. The productivity gains from putting agents in everyone's hands are real, but today, most agentic deployments are fraught with risk. Prompt injection, data exfiltration, unauthorized API usage, opaque tool usage. A developer's vibe coding agent needs access to repositories and deployment pipelines. An enterprise customer service agent needs access to internal APIs and user data. In both cases, securing the environment today means stitching together credentials, network policies, and access controls that were never designed for autonomous software. That's also a great point. Cloudflare has been building two platforms in parallel, our developer platform for people who build applications and our zero trust platform for organizations that need secure access. For a while, these served distinct audiences. For a while, these were for different audiences, developer platform and zero trust platform. Interesting. I guess I'm in both. But how do I build this agent and how do I make sure it's safe are increasingly the same question. We're bringing these platforms together so that all of this is native to how agents run, not a separate layer you bolt on. Agents that follow the rules. There's another dimension to the agent era that goes beyond compute and security. Economics and governance. Economics and governance. When agents interact with the internet on our behalf, reading articles, consuming APIs, accessing services, there needs to be a way for the people and organizations who create that content and run those services to set terms and to get paid. Gotta get paid. Can't miss that one. Today, the web's economic model is built around human attention. Ads, paywalls, subscriptions. Agents don't have attention. Well, not that kind of attention. They don't see ads. They don't click through cookie banners. If we want an internet where agents can operate freely and where publishers, content creators, and service providers are fairly compensated, we need new infrastructure for it. We are building tools that make it easy for publishers and content owners to set and enforce policies for how agents interact with their content. Building a better internet has always meant making sure it works for everyone, not just the people building the technology, but the people whose work and creativity make the internet worth using. Bars. That's a great line. I love that. And it's not often considered. I mean, so much you have the focus of developer advocacy, developer adoption is developers, but your developers need to prioritize their clients. So as a provider of technology to developers, you have to care about the end user's experience as well. Otherwise, the developers will get frustrated and not want to build with you if building with you makes it harder for them to satisfy the needs of their clients. It's a good point. That doesn't change in the age of agents. It becomes more important. Yes, I would agree. And this kind of attention link was provided by our buddy in chat, Dylan. I love that this was his one piece. He got stuck in the article, he said. But yeah, attention is all you need. This was a seminal paper in the ML space. Great shout out. I love that little Easter egg. I guess that's not an Easter egg. I don't know what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter. I'm rambling and nobody's here. The platform for developers and agents. Our vision for the developer platform has always been to provide a comprehensive platform that just works, from experiment to MVP to scaling to millions of users. But providing the primitives is only part of the equation. A great platform also has to think about how everything works together and how it integrates into your development flow. That job is evolving. It used to be purely about developer experience, making it easy for humans to build, test, and ship. Increasingly, it's about helping agents build humans. It's about helping agents help humans. Oh no, the machines are making humans. That's not good. It's about helping agents help humans and making the platform work not just for the people building agents, but for the agents themselves. Can an agent find the latest, most up-to-date best practices? We have a dangling space, bonus space, bonus space. I definitely don't have OCD. Can an agent find the latest, most up-to-date best practices? How easily can it discover and invoke the tools and CLIs it needs? How seamlessly can it move from writing code to deploying it? Ooh, banger. This is Artifacts. This is Artifacts, I think. Artifacts plays a role here. This week, we're shipping improvements across both dimensions, making Cloudflare better for the humans building on it and for the agents running on it. Wow, I'm nobody. Yep, nobody. Dylan, nobody, Mulroy. Building for the future is a team sport. Building for the future is not something we can do alone. Every major internet transition from HTTP 1 to HTTP 2 and HTTP 3, from TLS 1.2 to 1.3, has required the industry to converge on shared standards. The shift to agents will be no different. Cloudflare has a long history of contributing to and helping push forward the standards that make the internet work. We've been deeply involved in the IETF for over a decade, helping develop and deploy protocols like Quick, TLS 1.3, and encrypted client Hello. We were a founding member of the WinterC. Oh, I love WinterTC. WinterTC, the ECMA Technical Committee for JavaScript Runtime Interoperability. We open source the workers runtime itself because we believe the foundation should be open. We're bringing the same approach to the agentic era. We're excited to be a part of the Linux Foundation and AAIF and to help and support and push forward standards like MCP that will be foundational for the agentic future. Since Anthropic introduced MCP, we've worked closely with them to build the infrastructure for remote MCP servers, open source our own implementations, and invest in making the protocol practical at scale. Last year, alongside Coinbase, we co-founded the X402 Foundation, an open, neutral standard that revives the long-dormant HTTP 402 status code to give agents a native way to pay for the services and content they consume. This is going to be big. I think this is a really cool piece. I think it would be awesome to have a tipping function on a blog, you know? And when an agent fetches your blog, there would just be something where it, they allow the mechanism for you to tip the author. That would be so cool. Even if it's just a little random thing, nobody uses it. That kind of interactivity is very cool and leads to crazy possibilities for creator economy stuff, right? Agent identity, authorization, payment, safety. These all need open standards that no single company can define alone. I like this bit of humility. I like this, this is a part of technology. This is a smart and mature way to look at it. Standards are a big part of new technology. Stay tuned. This week, we're making announcements across every dimension of the agent stack: compute, connectivity, security, identity, economics, and developer experience. The internet wasn't built for AI. The cloud wasn't built for agents. But Cloudflare has always been about helping build a better internet. And what better means changes with each era. This is the era of agents. This week, follow along and we'll show you what we're building for it. Cool. Banger blog. Great blog. And then there's just been a whole heap of blog posts. So let's just quickly scroll through. Agent readiness score. You can test if your site is ready for agents. I haven't run this yet. I need to nuke my website, actually, because my website is embarrassing. Fine. We'll check my website with this. Don't go to my website, though. We're just going to check it. We're not going to look at it because it's 5 years old and embarrassing. Is it agentready.com? We can put in nate.codes. And this is basically Lighthouse score, but for agents. It's how, and I'm level 0. Cool. Cool. Yeah, we're gonna nuke that website on this stream, most likely. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, too late. You can't see my embarrassing website. Get an agent readiness score for your site. Yeah, so agent readiness is a new lighthouse for agents. Pretty cool. Bot access control, authorization with Cloudflare. What's this? Integrating, URL scanner. Nice. Cool, neat tool. I like it. Shared dictionaries compression that keeps up with the agentic web. That sounds awesome and very, very, very nerdy. I'll have to dig into this another time. Interesting. Okay, so they're implementing a new standard, RFC 9842. Fascinating. Okay, I can nerd out on this one a lot. 99% smaller? Wait, what? Wow. Okay, this is wild. So it's just, it's making it so responses are just diffing, and they're diffing, so they only send the new stuff. This is super cool. Also, I'm not going to read this whole blog post on stream. Redirects for AI training enforces canonical content. That's cool. So they're talking about the redirects and crawlers, robots. Neat. Glad they're doing it. Unweight, how we compress an LLM 22% without sacrificing quality. Interesting. Agents that remember, introducing agent memory. This is what I'm very excited about. This is what I want to dig into and I want to build with. Network performance update, flagship feature flags. This was such a cool, dude. Launch Darkly. Are they still around? If they are, Cloudflare's going to kill Launch Darkly. Yeah, I was not expecting feature flagging from Cloudflare. What's flagship status? Is it public preview, private beta? Starting today, flagship is in private beta. Okay, so a lot of the stuff they're launching this week is private beta. Kind of a bummer because I want to build with everything, but I at least have a friend who got me into Artifacts private beta. So I can build cool stuff with Artifacts starting today. Probably an integer overflow. Your score was too high. Yeah, that's most likely it. Most likely. It's definitely that. So flagship, I really want to play with. Have to get access. Should I fill out all those requests for? I need to like build something crazy first, and I can have better answers to their Google Forms. Oh no, this isn't a Google form. That's way less cool. I'm gonna do this. I can fill this out right now. It's such a sales form. Work email. Is it gonna break? So I'm using a Gmail. Okay. I'm gonna request access to flagship private beta. I think I'm going to fill up my water and use the restroom. So I'm gonna do the quick add. Add. Yeah, that BRB screen works. And let's pull up add button. We're gonna do a 3-minute ad. I'm gonna go hug my children and fill up my water bottle and use the restroom, and I'll be right back. Hang out, stick around. We will be moving on soon to artifacts and Project Think, and then doing a little bit of an architecture session. But yeah, be right back in 3 minutes. Yo, Kersey. Dude, thank you for the sub. Sorry about leaving literally the instant you sub. Oh, dude. That was so unfortunate. Oh, no. Oh, man. I'm sorry. Kersey, good to see you, dude. I haven't seen you since you were warlocking, right? Good to see you, man. Kick those ads goodbye. Well, I just run ads. Ads are stupid. I'm not. What money am I making off Twitch? No, but the problem is more that if you don't run ads, Twitch runs pre-roll ads, and pre-roll ads are a bad experience for new viewers. Somebody joins the stream and then gets hit with ads right off the bat in the face. But yeah. I'ma take a picture. Chat, say hi. I don't have chat on screen anywhere, actually. Oh, how unhinged should I go? Hello. Pre-roll ads typically make me click off the stream immediately. Yeah, exactly. Pre-roll just sucks. Pre-roll is just terrible, and that's the only reason I run ads. I just try to run ads like when I leave the stream. Like if I'm AFK, just run the ads then, get an hour off pre-roll, go walk a little bit. I went to say hi to my kids. That's my normal thing. It's like, oh yeah, I'll go like, wait, which stream am I on? So yeah, I'll go hug my kids, say hi, you know, grab some water, use the restroom. I go to, my kids are playing in the backyard right now. I go to outside. I can't do any subs, so I pay off my medical debts. In the meantime, I have no issue with streamers running ads. Dude, yeah, that's the thing. Like, especially for me, like, please do not give me money. Who knows if I'm going to stream 100 times this month or once. But yeah, no, totally understand. No flame to anybody not subbed, obviously. What was I saying? Oh, I go to say hi to my kids, and they're playing in the backyard, and they're like digging in the mud, complete mess. It looks like chaos. But when we start hearing some crying, I walk out there. My 5-year-old son has a shovel, and he's screaming and bashing the ground with the shovel repeatedly, just like crying, being like, ah, and just mauling the ground. And my 3-year-old daughter is like walking around behind him. They both have mud on their faces, mud all over, just like completely obliterated. And mud is just flying everywhere as my son is just like destroying the ground with the shovel. And he breaks the shovel, which leads to more of a meltdown because then they're both sad that the shovel is broken. But mom comes out and is like, nope, if the shovel's cracked, we're not going to use it because that can pinch people. And so now they're both melting down. And I'm just like, I'm going to skip the hug right now. Love you, babe. Good luck. No, he'll be good. He needs time to calm down when he's in his downstairs brain. But yeah. All right. I really want to get my stupid stream deck working. I'm pissed that it doesn't connect to OBS, but debugging that almost certainly involves me closing OBS and ending streams, so we just won't. I can at least group my scenes. So there's me blurred with the Mac. That's kind of a fun one. That's not bad. What was this was like a BRB if I want to leave it up. But I use the BRB scene for that. Who knows? All right, back to the Mac. All right. Time for the hose. Yeah, exactly. No, that's what you do. You just hose them down. They're chill. They're good to go. Hi, everyone in land. All right. So where was I? So Flagship is a really cool release. Cloudflare doing feature flags now. It's just like another product category. That's awesome. AI platform and inference layer design for agents. So this is about AI gateway. And this is also cool because you get actual LLMs, right? So this is one catalog, one endpoint to run any LLMs. If you look at their models, they've got Kimi, We've got Nano Banana VO 5.4, 4.6. I wonder if they have 4.7 now. I believe this is all going to be tokens, though. I don't think they are going to support subscriptions or OAuth authorization. Accessing all your models through one API also means you can manage all your AI spend in one place. Most companies today are calling an average of 3.5 models across multiple providers, which means no one provider is able to give you a holistic view of your AI usage. With AI Gateway, you'll get one centralized place to monitor and manage AI spend. This is huge for businesses. Like, this is just so massive for enterprise. You got some poor finance person or IT guy that's sitting there with 6 dashboards open trying to compile and cross-reference all of the AI spend. Nightmare. So this is cool. This is very powerful. Bring your own models. That's also cool. So you can do, if you do post-training, fine-tuning, you can bring your own models. And the Replicate team, this was a huge acquisition. This, I think, makes so much sense and it's so cool. I used Replicate in the past. Really cool platform, really cool product. And Cloudflare acquired Replicate. When did that happen? End of last year. So this recently happened. Replicate team build, they have an AI gateway. Really cool service. You can run a bunch of models and now they work at Cloudflare. Very cool. Agents SDK, Workers AI. These are both also things we should talk about. Build the foundation for running extra large language models. Artifacts, version storage that speaks Git. This is something I'm very excited about. We'll go through that blog post. What time do I have? AI search, the search primitive for your agents. Been live for 2 hours. All right. We'll probably do artifacts. AI search, a search primitive for your agents. Postgres and MySQL databases with Planet Scale and Workers. This is cool. They've done a lot of platform, not really platform work. They've done a lot of interoperability work recently. Work similar to a lot of people have gotten on it. Vercel's helping with OpenNext more. Cloudflare's been helping with a bunch of adapters for Cloudflare. So just building those pieces and making that tech solid to like interoperate between services is super valuable for a ton of users. Cloudflare email service now in public beta, ready for your agents. This is one of the coolest things, I think. Now you don't need like what's the email? MailChimp. So now with Cloudflare email service, you don't need to use a MailChimp or a Twilio. Like, you don't need an external email provider because you can do email sending with Cloudflare. Really powerful, obviously, for agents, for sending and receiving email from agents. Super excited to use this service. I'm definitely going to use this to just eliminate another SaaS or another subscription I have to pay for to have email in my application. And this is public beta, so you can start using their mail service. Agents SDK, your agent is email native. This is really cool. They literally just have a first class on email hook for inbound mail. Very, very cool, very powerful. Obviously, a lot of this tech works super well to support agents. Agents even have their own domains. Like, this is just cool stuff. It all makes sense. This is like one of those examples of an area where Cloudflare, especially with this new email tooling, they have all of the pieces, like they have all of the puzzle pieces, they have all of the Lego bricks. So it's just like, it makes sense. And they're able to provide these solutions all within platform because they have all of these primitives that are so critical. Cloudflare email skill. Nice. Okay, I probably need that. Agentic Inbox is a reference application for how to build a full email application using email routing. Wait, that's awesome. This is super cool, actually. They have a front-end app they built. They built a Gmail, open source Gmail you can deploy to use. That's awesome. Wait. That's one of the cooler things I've seen. I hadn't dug in on this blog post, but this is so cool. Lets you send, receive, and manage emails through a modern web interface, all powered through your own Cloudflare account. Incoming emails arrive via... Dude, this is crazy. They're replacing Gmail. Like, holy moly. This is kind of rad. Can read your inbox, search conversations, and draft replies built with Cloudflare Agents SDK and Workers AI. Read the blog post to learn more. How to set up. Clicking the deploy to... You must follow the after deploying steps as well for a full step-by-step guide with screenshots. Refer to this comment. Okay, this is cool. This is very cool. I'll have to play with this at some point. Ooh, they're using a HANA worker. Nice. Mailbox, durable object. Email agent, durable object. React SPA. And it's Apache 2.0 license. This is cool. I definitely am looking forward to playing with that. But yeah, the email service I think is super exciting from Cloudflare. Again, it's just one fewer integration to have. It's one fewer secret you need to have in your environment variables. Just incredible for complexity. If it's just another Cloudflare piece of infra that you use a binding, you connect it, awesome. And you can use it with things that aren't inside Cloudflare because you just interact with the API or the SDK. Okay. Project Think, building the next generation of AI agents on Cloudflare. This is very exciting. This is this is Agents SDK. This is about the AI platform. We're really excited to dig into this blog post. Introducing Agent Lee, a new interface to the Cloudflare stack. Agent Lee. This is awesome. In dashboard AI assistant that understands your Cloudflare account. It can help you with troubleshooting, which today is a manual grind. This is cool. This is great. This is one of those things that, like, in the days of early AWS, when the AWS console was just an absolute nightmare, a tool like this would be so good. Even if it's just for like teaching you how to do things. If it's just like, hey, I need to get this key, I need to change this DNS record. Like, where do I go? What do I do? Like, not navigating the ridiculous multi-layered navigations of cloud services admin panels is such an unlock. Like, that is, if I don't have to go to AWS console, that's why you had entire businesses created, like SST. SST is a perfect example here. Apparently it's not sst.dev, right? This was a business built on the fact that AWS console was so obnoxious to use. People were like, oh my goodness, I can code something with TypeScript that's going to do all of this obnoxious admin panel work I would otherwise have to do in this terrible UI. So having an agent that can help you navigate that UI, I think just totally makes sense. It is awesome. You can use it for deploying stuff. You can use it for debugging. Yeah, the debugging, I think, is one of the biggest, like, underrated. Like, I'm not a super expert in, you know, I'm not a huge expert in observability tech and digging in with, you know, the logs of certain systems. So for me, having an agent that's just like, hey, here's where you have to even look to see the relevant problems or to see relevant logs, any data or information about this outage or this problem you're having, massively useful. So this is really, really cool. They used code mode to build it. Of course, code mode is huge. Built on the same stack. Also a really cool thing of Cloudflare, they're just all building new stuff on the stuff they've already built. Like, in theory, somebody else could just as easily build an agent like this. It's all the same tech. Yep, available to any Cloudflare developer. Generative UI. This is really cool. I want to get more into this. Agent Lee in the dashboard is only the beginning. The bigger vision is Agent Lee as the interface to your entire Cloudflare platform from anywhere. The dashboard today, the CLI next, your phone when you're on the go. The surface you use shouldn't matter. Yep, and this is what, like, LLMs unlock. You know, if the only interface you need is a chat interface, you can expand your application and its usage to a ton of different UIs. The client possibilities expand quite a bit. We want to get Agent Lee to the point where you can use it with ACP or MCP and use it from open code / Claude code, etc., without going to the dashboard. Oh, that would be so sick. Yeah, because then your agentic coding session, you could just be chilling in. Oh, I can't pull up Codex necessarily. I don't know what was in Codex. But CMux, I have my, this is just where I was messing around with artifacts. Yeah, just being an open code and being like, okay, now let's get this R2 binding set up, and it just spins up an MCP, and Agent Lee goes in and gets all the bindings wired up. I could fully build what I want to build without leaving open code, without leaving Codex, without leaving whatever agent, whatever harness I want to use, Pi. If I was a really cool hacker. Pi, if I was a really cool, very competent hacker. Standard pointer. Oh, hydrate, thank you. Yep, needed that. I have to dig in more with Pi. I'm using Pi. I have one agent that I'm building using Pi as the harness and the memory for the agent. But I want to dig into it more. I don't use Pi as like my daily driver for coding. I really need to do more of that. Yeah, this is super cool. Register domains wherever you build, register API. I mean, this is huge. Like people, you can have a service, you can have an application where somebody signs up and you purchase them their own domain. Like you get them a .com as part of the sign up flow. Crazy, crazy cool. Browser run, give your agents a browser. So this is like agent browser, use browser. It's just better browser rendering and ways for AI agents to see the browser. Re-architecting. I don't want to say just like it's bad, but I'm just trying to get through this. So much stuff they launched. Crazy. Re-architecting the workflows control plane for the agentic era. Workflows are super cool too. This is something, so much of what people are doing in OpenClaws, you can do with workflows. I think this is one of the most underrated primitives that Cloudflare has, and people are not using it. This is, what was it in AWS world? In AWS, they had... I don't know. Whatever it is. There was, I remember they had like a state machine thing on AWS. I remember when that came out. Add voice to your agent. Experimental voice pipeline. This is super cool. I want to try this out. You can do speech to text and text to speech in just 30 lines of server code. Securing non-human identities. Automated revocation, OAuth, and scoped permissions. This is huge. Just handling authentication for agents. Massive. All right. But we want to jump in. We got through this first review agents week. Now let's do artifacts. All right. Artifacts is capable of replacing GitHub. I think this is one of the coolest things that Cloudflare announced this week. I love it. The idea is that you need very easy and simple methods, techniques, and infrastructure to have repositories of code. It's the same thing people are using GitHub for. And as we went earlier to the GitHub status page, not the official one, but the missing one, which shows their uptime, crazy, crazy amounts of outages, and it's not one SLA, it's a bunch of different products and stuff, but there's been so many problems that GitHub has faced with the explosion of agents and agentic coding. Git and code is also just one use case, Dylan says. Any sort of version storage, it just so happens to be backed by Git. Yeah, that's the cool thing too, is that like this is totally usable for non-code based things. It is just version storage that speaks Git. This is, I believe, one of the first times Cloudflare has deployed Zig to production, by the way. I believe Zig is part of the stack that built artifacts, which is very cool. But very easy. I mean, 2 lines of code and you can create a repo. And the idea here is that these repos you can interact with like Git, so agents can use them because agents know Git very well. So you can clone it, you can push to it, you can do everything you could do with Git, but you can just create it on the fly. You can create artifacts out of GitHub repos, so you can use it to duplicate things, and it gives you a versioned file system. Okay, should we actually read the blog post? Imagine an app for doctors updating patient notes, fork repos under the covers, and use it as the file store. Yeah, that's crazy. You do it for patient notes, you do it for sensitive documents, anything sensitive, you get so much security by creating new separate repos, because it's just, if the system gets hacked or if there's some problem, like it's not exposing everybody's stuff. They're all kind of safely sandboxed in their own repos. managing Terraform. Interesting. Managing Terraform using artifacts. Ooh, that's fascinating. Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Interesting. Okay. So, artifacts are very, very cool. There's a lot of awesome use cases, and we'll just dive right into the blog. With that, we'll dive right into the blog post, do a little reading. Agents have changed how we think about source control, file systems, and persisting state. Developers and agents are generating more code than ever. More code will be written over the next 5 years than in all of programming history, and it's driven an order of magnitude change in the scale of the systems we need to meet this demand. That's crazy. More code will be written over the next 5 years than in all of programming history. I want to see the reference for that, but I also don't doubt it. Source control platforms are especially struggling here. They were built to meet the needs of humans, not a 10x change in volume driven by agents who never sleep, can work on several issues at once, and never tire. We think there's a need for a new primitive, a distributed versioned file system that's built for agents first and foremost, and that can serve the types of applications that are being built today. We're calling this Artifacts, a versioned file system that speaks Git. You can create repositories programmatically alongside your agents, sandboxes, workers, or any other compute paradigm, and connect to it from any regular Git client. Want to give every agent session a repo? Artifacts can do it. Every sandbox instance? Also Artifacts. Want to create 10,000 forks from a well-known good starting point? You guessed it, Artifacts again. Want to create 10,000 forks from a known good starting point? You guessed it, Artifacts again. Artifacts exposes a REST API and native workers API for creating repositories, generating credentials, and commits for environments where a Git client isn't the right fit, i.e. in any serverless function. Artifacts is available in private beta, and we're aiming to open this up as a public beta by early May. Again, I mean, this is just crazy. 2 lines of TypeScript, create a repo, clone the repo, bam, you're using it. That's it, a bare repo, ready to go, create on the fly that any Git client can operate against. Is that right? A bare repo ready to go, created on the fly, that any Git client can operate it against. I think it should be operate against. Sorry. Proofreading. Your daughter says, hello, Daddy. Oh, my wife put me on the big screen downstairs. Hey, kids. Hey, wife. Oh, I love you. I know they're downstairs checking it out. My son's probably freaking out. Yeah, it's actually Daddy, guys. Daddy's on the TV. All right. And if you want to bootstrap an Artifacts repo from an existing Git repository so that your agent can work on it independently and push independent changes, you can do that too with .import. So you pull in the interface. We've got a fetch. You just await artifacts.import, provide the URL to GitHub, which branch you want, and then target workers SDK. You get a handle, fork to an isolated read-only copy. That's awesome. And then you return the remote and the token. Dang. Check out the documentation to get started, or if you want to understand how Artifacts is being used, how it was built, and how it works under the hood, read on. All right, we're going to read on, y'all. Are you ready? We're going to get technical here. I think the read estimates are totally off. I think I'm spending way more than 9 minutes reading this, but I digress. Read-only copies for code review agents. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Why Git? What's a versioned file system? Agents know Git. It's deep in the training data of most models. The happy path and the edge cases are well known to agents, and code-optimized models and/or harnesses are particularly good at using Git. Further, Git's data model is not only good for source control, but for anything where you need to track state, time travel, and persist large amounts of small data. Code, config, session prompts, and agent history, all of these are objects that you often want to store in small chunks, commits, and be able to revert or otherwise roll back to history. We could have invented an entirely new bespoke protocol, but then you have the bootstrap problem. AI models don't know it, so you have to distribute skills or a CLI or hope that users are plugged into your docs MCP. All of that adds friction. If we can just give agents an authenticated, secure HTTPS Git remote URL and have them operate as if it were a Git repo, though, that turns out to work pretty well. And for non-Git speaking clients, such as a Cloudflare worker, a Lambda function, or a Node.js app, we've exposed a REST API and soon language-specific SDKs. Huge. Those clients can also use isomorphic Git, but in many cases, a simpler TypeScript API can reduce the API surface needed. I'm smart, so I totally know what isomorphic Git is. Yeah, this is, it's Git, but it's isomorphic, like clearly. And so that's awesome. And I've done all of this. I know all about this. I actually helped build some code and open source stuff, no big deal. But yeah, I totally know what this is and everything about it. And that's a sneaky little nerd snipe link that totally doesn't impact me because I know all about isomorphic Git and what that means and how it's used and the implications. Y'all can look it up. You can look it up basically, It's isomorphic Git. Git is basically a TypeScript Git client. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. My daughter really wants me to know that she's eating apples. Oh, yummy apples. We love apples. Standard Pointer asks what kind of apples. Daughter, you want to share what kind of apples you're eating? Imagine using it with just bash. That's cool. Okay, that's really cool. All right, this is going to be some time, but we're going to get through this. It's 6 o'clock. All right. Or in a dynamic worker, yep. All right, not just for source control. Artifact's Git API might make you think it's just for source control, but it turns out that the Git API and data model is a powerful way to persist state in a way that allows you to fork, time travel, and diff state for any data. Inside Cloudflare, we're using artifacts for our internal agents, automatically persisting the current state of the file system and the session history in a per-session artifacts repo. This enables us to persist sandbox state without having to provision and keep block storage around, share sessions with others, and allow them to time travel back through both session prompt state and file state, irrespective of whether there were commits to the actual repository, source control. And the best, fork a session from any point, allowing our team to share sessions with the coworker and have them pick it up from them. Debugging something in one another set of eyes, send a URL and fork it. Want to riff on an API? Have a coworker fork it and pick up from where you left off. We've also spoken to teams who want to use artifacts in cases where the Git protocol isn't a requirement at all, but the semantics, reverting, cloning, diffing, are. Storing per customer config as part of your product and want the ability to roll back, artifacts can be a good representation of this. We're excited to see teams explore the non-Git use cases around artifacts just as much as the Git-focused ones. Yeah, this is so cool. There's so many use cases for this. Fuji apples, nice. This is really cool. Really, really cool tech. Yeah, so right away, I've got a ton of things that come to mind. The user config, I think, is huge. Like just having, it can be code files. Like that's the really crazy thing. That's what I want to build, and we probably won't get to it on this stream. But having a web application that is per user customized to the point that a user can prompt an agent to change. Thank you. I love you. We got Smoothie in the house. Nice. That is delicious. Good old green smoothie. Yeah, so first of all, the artifact enables you to have a per user environment for your application, a per user code base of your application. So when somebody signs up, you're straight up giving them their own copy of the code base. Then you give them the capability to prompt an agent to make changes to the code base so they can literally move their app around. They can say, I want the header over here. I want to change visuals. I want to change functionality. And an agent is modifying the code of their application. But then you have all of the users' context. For instance, let's say it's a note-taking app. The user's vault of all of their notes itself could be stored as another artifact. Now you have a totally safe sandboxed file storage, and it has time travel. So they can go back and forth. They can go through the history of their notes and how they wrote them. This is all just like out of the box capability that you get from using artifacts as a primitive. Super cool. There's some crazy stuff you can do with this. Definitely some obvious use cases around agentic coding. I think the fact that you can have traces, that's one of the first things I would be curious to play around with on this, is sending agent traces into artifacts. Agent traces a specification Cursor came up with. It's for tracking AI generated code. This allows you to attribute actual parts of your code base to sessions, to vibe coding sessions. This allows you to connect sections of your code base to the actual agentic coding sessions that created them. This is Git blame on steroids. You could go into code and actually see what the engineer was prompting the model to do and what changes were made when something happened in your code base. Putting this into artifacts, I think, has some crazy use cases and applications. Dylan in my chat just said you could build Notion on it. Exactly. You could literally build Notion on top of artifacts, and there's so much implementation detail in the application layer that you just don't have to do. You just get it because you have a Git compatible storage that follows Git semantics and Git verbs. So you can do full file history for a notes app, or you can have a database that the user is managing and have different states of their database because you're storing it all in artifacts. Oh goodness. I was just thinking like SQLite probably goes crazy with artifacts, but that's also totally pointless, and you should probably just use R2 if you're doing that. Sorry, you should probably just use D1 if you're talking SQLite. But just some crazy things you can do with artifacts. I don't know why I was scrolled up to there as I was talking all about that. Under the hood, this is the exciting, nerdy part. OpenClaw editing itself would be a good use case so it doesn't destroy itself. Yeah, open code could fork its config as an artifact once it's good, then pull it and restart. Really, really cool use cases. Artifacts is backed by SQLite via digital objects. That totally makes sense. And we're about to get into that here. So if you put SQLite into artifacts, then you would have SQLite in your SQLite for your SQLite. Artifacts are built on top of durable objects. Artifacts are built on top of durable objects. The ability to create millions or tens of millions of instances of stateful isolated compute is inherent to how durable objects work today. And that's exactly what we needed for supporting millions of Git repos per namespace. Major League Baseball for live game fanout, Confluence whiteboards, and our own Agents SDK use durable objects under the hood at significant scale. So we're building this on a primitive that we've had in production for some time. What we did need, however, was a Git server implementation that could run on Cloudflare workers. It needed to be small, as complete as possible, extensible with notes and LFS, and efficient. So we built one in Zig and compiled it to WASM. Why did we use Git? This is so cool. This is awesome. And according to Dylan and according to Cloudflare, this is the first time they have deployed Zig in production. So this is new technological ground for Cloudflare as a company. Why did we use Zig? Why did we use Zig? 3 reasons. The entire Git protocol engine is written in pure Zig, no libc, compiled to 100K WASM binary with room for optimization. It implements SHA-1, zlib, inflate, deflate, delta encoding, decoding, pack parsing, and the full Git smart HTTP protocol, all from scratch with 0 external dependencies other than the standard library. That's huge. 0 dependencies is awesome. I don't know what Git smart HTTP protocol is. I'll have to look into that. Zig gives us manual control over memory allocation, which is important in constrained environments like durable objects. The Zig build system lets us easily share code between the WASM runtime production and native builds, testing against libgit2 for correctness verification. The WASM module communicates with the JS host via a thin callback interface. 11 host imported functions for storage operations, host get object, host get object, host put object, etc., and 1 for streaming output, host emit bytes. The WASM side is fully testable in isolation. This is wild. This is such cool tech, but it makes sense for what they're building. This is, oh man. This is just such a cool problem to solve, and the way they solved it, you have to be very Cloudflare brain to come up with this, because you're fundamentally looking at the worker D runtime as a delivery surface. There's a lot of tricky parts about that. And the way they built this and the way they architected this was clearly using the strengths and limitations of Cloudflare primitives as they architected it. Super cool. Under the hood, Artifacts also use R2 for snapshots and KV for tracking auth tokens. Artifacts architecture. WASM runtime, Git implementation in Zig, snapshots to R2, token cache to KV, durable objects, 1 per repo, metrics go to a GraphQL metrics pipeline, RPC calls between a worker RPC calls go to the worker and then push pull clone from a Git or HTTP client. This is rad. Also uses workflows. Nice. Of course it does. That's rad though. Yeah, this architecture is just so clean. Again, 3 pieces of infra plus the durable object itself. I guess this is the repo. This whole thing is 1 repo. A worker acts as the front end, handling authentication and authorization, key metrics, errors, latency, and looking up each artifact's repository, durable object, on the fly. Specifically, files are stored in the underlying durable object's SQLite database. Durable object storage has a 2 meg max row size, so large Git objects are chunked and stored across multiple rows. We make use of the sync KV API, which is backed by SQLite under the hood. Durable objects have 128 meg memory limits. Durable objects have 128 megabyte memory limits. This means we can spawn tens of millions of them. They're fast and light, but have to work within those limits. We make heavy use of streaming in both the fetch and push paths, directly returning a readable stream uint8 array built from the raw WASM output chunks. We avoid calculating our own Git deltas. Instead, the raw deltas and base hashes are persisted alongside the resolved object. On fetch, if the requesting client already has the base object, Zig omits the delta instead of the full object, which saves bandwidth and memory. Man, some of these optimization plays are just so cool, and you can only do it because it's Cloudflare infrastructure specifically, and it's using Cloudflare primitives that they're using. They have just so much control over the full environment, pipeline, and stack that the code is running within. It's really, really cool stuff. Support for both V1 and V2 of the Git protocol. We support capabilities including LSRefs, shallow clones, deepen sense, deepen relative, and incremental fetch with have-want negotiation. We have an extensive test suite with conformance tests against Git clients, verification tests against libgit2 server designed to validate protocol support. On top of this, we have native support for Git notes. Artifacts is designed to be agent first, and notes enable agents to add notes and metadata to Git objects. This includes prompts, agent attribution, and other metadata that can be read, written from the repo without mutating the objects themselves. So yeah, agent traces. This is just like agent traces plus this plus laying fuse. You have so much observability power in an agentic coding session. Really cool stuff. We tried Rust 2. It was through 2 to 3 times. We tried Rust 2. It was 2 to 3 times larger WASM binaries. Interesting. Gonna start a Rust war if we're not careful here. So Zig was chosen over Rust. It makes sense though. I mean, size is the one of the biggest things to consider here. They got down to 100K WASM binary. That's massive. It's actually not massive. It's actually very small. But the fact they got there is massive. Big repos, big problems, meet Artifact FS. Most repos aren't that big, and Git is designed to be extremely efficient in terms of storage. Most repositories take only a few seconds to clone at most, and that's dominated by network setup time, auth, and checksumming. In most agent or sandbox scenarios, that's workable. Just clone the repo as the sandbox starts and get to work. But what about a multi-gigabyte repository and or repos with millions of objects? How can we clone that repo quickly without blocking the agent's ability to get work How can we clone that repo quickly without blocking the agent's ability to get to work for minutes and consuming compute? A popular web framework at 2.4 gigs and with a long history takes close to 2 minutes to clone. A shallow clone is faster, but not enough to get down to single-digit seconds. We don't always want to omit history because agents find it useful. Can we get large repos down to 10 to 15 seconds so that our agents can get to work? Well, yes, with a few tricks. As part of our launch of Artifacts, we're open sourcing Artifact FS, a file system driver designed to mount large Git repos as quickly as possible, hydrating file contents on the fly instead of blocking on the initial clone. It's ideal for agents, sandboxes, containers, and other use cases where startup time is critical. If you can shave 90 to 100 seconds off your sandbox startup time for every large repo, and you're running 10,000 of those sandbox jobs per month, that's 2,778 sandbox hours saved. You can think of Artifact FS as Git clone but async. Artifact FS runs a blobless clone of a Git repository. It fetches the file tree and refs, but not the file contents. It can do that during sandbox startup, which then allows your agent harness to get to work. In the background, it starts to hydrate, download file contents concurrently via a lightweight daemon. It prioritizes files that agents typically want to operate on first: package manifests, configuration files, and code, deprioritizing binary blobs, images, executables, and other non-text files where possible, so that agents can scan the file tree as the files themselves are hydrated. If a file isn't fully hydrated when the agent tries to read it, the read will block until it has. The file system does not attempt to sync files back to the remote repository. With thousands or millions of objects, that's typically very slow, and since we're speaking Git, we don't need to. Your agent just needs to commit and push as it would with any repository. No new APIs to learn. Importantly, Artifact FS works with any Git remote, not just our own artifacts. If you're cloning large repos from GitHub, GitLab, or self-hosted Git infrastructure, you can still use Artifact FS. That's cool. Open sourcing this is like a separate tool, this file system driver. That's super cool. Man, they launched so much this week. Cloudflare's crazy. All right, what's coming? On release day, our release today is just the beta, and we're already working on a number of features that you'll see land over the next few weeks, expanding the available metrics we exposed. Today we're shipping metrics for key operations counts per namespace, repo, and stored bytes per repo, so that managing millions of artifacts isn't toilsome. Support for event subscriptions is coming. For repo level events that we can emit events on pushes, pulls, clones, and forks to any repository within a namespace. This will also allow you to consume events, write webhooks, and use those events to notify end users, drive lifecycle events within your product, and or run post-push jobs like CI/CD. Yeah, this is going to be wild. This is going to be so cool first. You could build GitHub Actions on top of this pretty quickly. Native TypeScript, Go, and Python client SDKs for interacting with the Artifacts API. Repo-level search APIs and namespace-wide search APIs, e.g. find all the repos with a package.json file. We're also planning an API for workers builds, allowing you to run CI/CD jobs on any agent-driven workflow. Not pre-read, by the way. What will it cost me? We're still early with artifacts, but we want our pricing to work at agent scale. It needs to be cost effective to have millions of repos. Unused or rarely used repos shouldn't be a drag, and our pricing should match the massively single tenant nature of agents. You also shouldn't have to think about whether a repo is going to be used or not, whether it's hot or cold, and or whether an agent is going to wake it up. We'll charge you for the storage you consume and the operations, e.g. clones, forks, pushes, and pulls against each repo. Per unit, 15 cents per 1,000 operations, 50 cents per gigabyte month. First 10,000 operations are included, so that's $1.50. And for storage, the first gig is included, $1. So we got $3.50. So in other words, if you're asking how much Cloudflare is going to give you for free, about $3.50. That's good. Nice little embedded meme in there. About $3.50. Big, busy repos will cost more than smaller, less often used repos, whether you have 1,000, 100,000, or 10 million of them. We'll also be bringing artifacts to the workers' free plan with some fair limits as the beta progresses, and we'll provide updates throughout the beta should this pricing change and ahead of any billing usage. Where do I start? Artifacts is launching in private beta, and we expect public beta to be ready in early May 2026, to be clear. We'll be allowing customers in progressively over the next few weeks, and you can register interest for the private beta directly. In the meantime, you can learn more about artifacts by reading the Getting Started guide in the docs, visiting the Cloudflare dashboard, build, storage, and databases artifacts, and reading through the REST API examples, learning more about how artifacts works under the hood. Follow the changelog to track the beta as it progresses. Nice. Probably gonna do event subs in Miami this week. Dude, that's awesome. Oh my gosh. All right. So artifacts is awesome. And this is the core of my first idea here that we might do some architecture for on this stream. And that is a user mutable website, right? So somebody that logs into a website, signs up for an account, they get their own copy of the code base, they get their own instance of an agent that can operate on the code base, and they can just change what the app looks like, feels like, functions like. Totally doable with this primitive. You literally give every user that signs up for your website their own code base. And if they go crazy with it and they're spamming the heck out of that agent, you'll pay more in tokens than anything else, but what you'll pay for infrastructure probably remains very low. Thousands of commits. If a user has an agent that does 10,000 Git operations, you've just lost $1.50. Extremely reasonable pricing. Absolutely crazy. All right, so here's the artifacts docs. I highly recommend reading through all of it. How it works. Actually, not that long. Whatever, we'll just read about it. All right. Next, we're going to read about how artifacts works from this page in the docs. And it's not too long, much shorter than the blog post we just read. But let's get through it. Artifacts creates Git repos on demand. Each repo is an isolated service with its own identity, access model, and durable state. Each artifacts repo is its own independent Git server with its own remote URL, tokens, and durable state. Repeating themselves. Core model. Namespaces are the top-level container for repos. A repo lives inside one namespace, and its name is unique within that namespace. A namespace provides the naming and routing boundary for repos. Together, the namespace and repo name form the repo's stable address, and API responses also return a repo ID. Like durable objects, a repo is a single logical instance that Cloudflare can route to from any region. Because each repo is isolated, it has its own Git history and refs, access tokens and remote URL, lifecycle, and durable state. Repos can be created as needed. This lets artifacts model many small units of work across separate repos. Forking follows the same model. A fork creates a new repo that starts from an existing repo's history, then diverges independently with its own tokens, routing, and lifecycle. Access is also repo scoped. Each repo has its own tokens, and each token can be limited to a specific level of access. Read for clone, fetch, pull, indexing, and review. Write for push and other mutations. Your worker or API layer decides when to mint these tokens. That keeps authentication and authorization outside the repo while still making the repo usable from workers, the REST API, or any standard Git client. The permissions is great too, because you can do, this is like pull review. This is like reviewing pull requests, right? You can spin up an agent that just has read to a repo, and it can directly connect and code review what another agent just wrote. Durability. Artifacts is durable by default. A repo does not depend on one process staying alive or on one data center staying available. Behind the scenes, Cloudflare replicates repo data synchronously across multiple data centers and copies it asynchronously to object storage and snapshots. You do not need to build your own replication, failover, or snapshot pipeline to keep repository state available. Artifacts handles the Git server lifecycle and storage infrastructure underneath these Git workflows. Again, just a great example of Cloudflare just building in things that any software engineer normally would have to think about. Disaster recovery is normally a whole strategy. I'm currently reviewing a strategy document at work for disaster recovery, failover, incident response. It's a lot of stuff to think about, and you have to map out everything and have all these processes and build all these automations, and there's project management around it, there's resource management around it. The fact that Cloudflare can just guarantee some of these things because of what their network and infrastructure looks like, what their actual hardware looks like, their, however many points of presence they have around the world, and they just get to build that in. That's so valuable. That is so cool. So if we hop to the top of the docs here, we can tell that this was built with Starlight because it looks like out of the box Starlight. But great guide in here. I've already gone through some of this. I've tried the workers guide. Funnest fact about artifacts is that I got into the public. The funnest fact about artifacts is that I got into the private beta, so I can actually build with this stuff today. And I have created my first repo as of last night. Although the worker route wasn't working for me, but I think that may have been patched. So I'm definitely going to be using this to build a website this week. I have to update my personal website, so hopefully I'll get that updated before this video goes out. But I'm excited. I'm pumped to just do wacky stuff with this, right? This with agents, with LLMs, there's so many different just awesome things that you can do. Authentication, I'm going to have to go through and figure this out. I haven't done a ton of this. I'm not going to touch Artifact.fs for a while probably, but I will benefit from it because it's actually, no, I guess I might not be using it at all for a while. Best practices, use unique names, scope access narrowly. Yep. Again, there's so many best practices that are just like built into the mechanisms here. Store harness metadata separately. Use Git notes for prompts and model output. Yeah, this is so powerful. Yep, you can literally just add your conversation into Git notes. If you sync repos between systems, remember that notes live on separate refs. Push and fetch ref/notes/star with the rest of your repo data when you want that metadata to travel with the repository. Interesting. So I can see a couple, there's some rough edges and some potential foot guns here that you're gonna have to manage. This is the tricky part of being Git compatible, but not necessarily Git itself under the hood, is you're gonna have certain pieces like this, but it's coming with new capabilities too. I mean, using Git notes, a lot of people aren't using that right now. So there's gonna be some new semantics, there's gonna be some new foot guns, there's gonna be some rough edges to iron out with DX, but that makes sense. Got to do a Wrangler release on Monday for the binding, but if you follow this through me, you can use it now. Ooh, nice. All right, we got that inside baseball from Dylan. We got a demo application with artifacts. Sweet. So I can use this later as a hop-off point. Let me star that in my main browser. Dope. Awesome. All right. I think that's it for artifacts right now. Cool. Cool. Probably my favorite website for artifacts, and just an incredible website in general, is the Workers website at Cloudflare. So if you go to workers.cloudflare.com, if you're building things, plural, workers.cloudflare.com, if you are building with R2, D1, workers, pages, this site is so much better of a representation of the products that you're going to be using. I love this products catalog, right? You look in here and this is just very much organized for an application builder. You get to the security stuff and network stuff at the back here, but compare this to the front Cloudflare website, which is very much the enterprise bulwark clients that Cloudflare has a ton of. Very useful services, but that's not the stuff I'm building with. That's not the stuff I'm excited about. This is the stuff I'm excited about. So storage, we've got artifacts, also just a beautiful website. Shout out to the Cloudflare Workers org and what they've done here. This is just absolutely gorgeous. These diagrams. Oh, wait. Oh, that's so cool. It's very interactive. Of course it is, but oh my gosh. Gushness. Oh, mergershness. This is so cool. A little bit of a contrast thing there. That's not the easiest to read, but holy moly, that's so cool. So you can literally click through and get to the docs pages. Wow. Okay, so their landing page is like a docs hop-off point. That is actually super cool from a developer education perspective. This is very, very, very valuable. Because anything you see in the reference architectures here, you're like, oh, I want to learn more about hyperdrive. Just boom, puts you right into the docs. Multiplayer, this is going to have digital objects for sure. Workers, durable objects. R2, durable objects. Workers, yep. Oh my goodness. This is a canvas? No way. No shot. That's so cool. What? That is so cool. Oh, data platform R2, workflows and durable objects, workers AI, using an AI model. This is cool, the fact they give shout outs to the architectures inspired by different clients, different people presumably building on Cloudflare. Very cool. Very, very cool stuff. Atlassian, okay. Durable objects, workers AI, storage, durable objects. Yep. This is like a very... This is a very solid agents architecture for what it looks like to deploy an agent on Cloudflare. Got workflows that kick things off. Compute is in durable objects. Uses workers AI, storage in R2, D1, and queues, and then durable objects for stateful compute. This is awesome. This is such a cool website. But we are going to look at the artifacts page in particular. And again, just gorgeous page. Beautiful page. Whoever worked on this, good job. Good props. Version storage that speaks Git. Give your agents, developers, and automations a home for code and data. Artifacts is a Git compatible. Ooh, wait. I got dark mode. This wasn't dark. Oh, I'm on my Mac, so I have system dark mode. Awesome. Is the cloud still busted? No, that cloud's better. That cloud's good. So it's a light mode issue. It's funny. Git compatible, programmable, tens of millions of repos. That's so cool. And we've got a couple different examples here. What the code looks like to create an issue, fork from GitHub, and the HTTP client. Super cool stuff. Love the design on this site too. So again, $1 is included in the free plan, $1 of storage, and $1.50. Did this say something different before? Maybe it's not $3.50 total. That's $1 and that's $1.50. So it's $2.50 is your free usage allowance. pushing notes separately, kind of like tags, the same as GitHub. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, I just don't think a lot of people have used Git notes before. But yes, the ergonomics are different. The difference in ergonomics is the same you'd have using GitHub with Git tags. They are different refs. You have to push them separately. And this has their product catalog again. Build without boundaries. This is just a beautiful website. Well done. Very, very cool. Cloudflare CLI is awesome. And Agent Memory is awesome. And Project Think is awesome. Yeah, I have to go back too. So I'm actually driving to my parents' house tonight because they're driving me to the airport in the morning. So I need to get off this stream soon. We got through artifacts. We got through half of the stream agenda. That's not bad. Project Think is going to be required. Agent Memory is going to be required for my project that I'm working on. But I'm super pumped. Agents Week was rad, and now I'm going to AI Engineer in Miami. That's why I'm packing. Super excited. I'm going to get on an airplane. I might see Sunil. I might see Dylan. A lot of Cloudflare people are going to be at the AI Engineer Expo this week. So super pumped for that, but I do need to get off soon because of that. And so I'm going to go ahead and do one more thing on our agenda. And we're going to play a game because I actually do want to test with the stream setup. All right. So let's actually test out how games work. Is my computer going to crash? Is my PC going to crash and fall over and explode? Maybe. Potentially. It's quite possible. Is the game going to be on the right monitor? Almost certainly not. Huh. No. 1920, 1080. Target monitor. Elgato prompter. That's not the monitor it's on, but whatever. And then we will do some Noel. Just because Noel is fun. We'll just do some fun stuff here. All right. Alright, cool. Pre-rolls on. 1 minute ad. BRB. Oh wait, I shouldn't do a 1 minute ad if I just posted. Alright, cool. Alright. Let's see how this goes. So if you don't know about Megabonk is a fun stream. What are we gonna do? Let's do the gaming music. Where's the gaming playlist, dude? Here's the gaming playlist. Let's go. Megabonk is a Vampire Survivors-like game. So it's basically hordes of enemies that just spawn. You get weapons and tomes and pick up items and get buffs from things called shrines, these charge shrines. You open chests. It's fun. It's crazy. It's like gambling constantly. It's like the most crazy dopamine game. And this is actually 4 challenges. It's actually a terrible map, probably. Do you have anything good? If there's nothing good, we will R. So the worst part of this game is it's so RNG based that if you actually want to get high scores, the meta is basically to just spam reset until you get the best item or an item that you need from one of the first things, because the best way to start a run is to get the best item right away. These are decent items, so I'll run this for a bit. You can also see all of the different structures that are on the map. In the bottom right corner here, there's a, whatchamacallit, ow. There's a shrine counter, so you can see what's on a map, and you can reset faster for good maps. Wow. Oh no. These are the worst. I hate these. Oh, blue skeleton. Come on, give me a weapon. Come on, give me a weapon. Terrible. Alright, that works. Oh, these level ups are awful. Alright, so there's 2 microwaves. Microwave's the biggest thing to figure out because they let you duplicate items. So if you find a white microwave, it lets you duplicate a white item. Purple microwave lets you duplicate a purple item. Blue microwave lets you duplicate, you guessed it, a blue item. Beefy's decent. So many pots. I don't want to do this, but this is probably bad because I should be looking for a microwave. That's a microwave, but I don't have anything to do. Shoot. Alright. These level ups are awful. Okay, extra jumps are huge. They are so big for mobility. We want to hit this boss shrine before the bosses spawn in 2 seconds. Okay, got it. I'm not going to be strong enough to kill those bosses, so I'm literally just going to kite them around the map now. Need to attacks like this that you got to avoid. Oh gosh. Look, finally we got a decent tome. And those are explodey spider weapons. Explodey spider enemies. Ah. So we've got a swarm coming up in 1 second. Oh, that's a boss behind the tree. Get me out, get me out, I don't want to be here. Alright, there's a magnet is going to suck up all of the XP around the map that we haven't gotten, and that power-up is going to be clutch. Okay. So while the swarm is spawning... Oh gosh. While the swarm is spawning, you kind of just want to gather it up. Can I get up here? Please, thank you. Alright, we get that power-up. I need more weapons like that. Oh, let me out. So this is a... Oh no. This is where I die. And we press R. And this is what the game usually looks like for people. Oh, that was a good one. You're just resetting, looking for the right numbers in the bottom right. Now we'll run this. Alright, failed my first swarm. Alright, XP tome on the first level. That's not bad. Probably should have taken difficulty there, but... It's okay, sucks, bad, 'cause I am bad. Good old base hunter, dude. Oh, it's not on shuffle. That's why we're getting purely base hunter. Oh, infected mushroom. Yeah, we'll do vicious delicious. Shield. That's what I was missing the last run. Shield is OP because if you get hit once, no matter how much damage you would have taken, if it breaks your shield, it only breaks your shield and it doesn't hurt your HP. That means just 5 shield value is like massive for avoiding damage. Because as long as you give it time for the shield to refresh, you won't have any health measures that you take. Skeletons are one of the worst leads. Ooh, green card early. This is like the best item that you want to get early. It means you get luck for every chest you open. Oh, and watch. Okay, this might actually be a decent seed. There's a magnet. Please give me a weapon. Alright, magnet is right there. Magnet, magnet, magnet. We're looking for a microwave. bad. I think Ice Cube also synergizes with Noel's passive, because you get damage for every enemy frozen. So having Ice Cube means other weapons can apply that than your default. Okay, that's where the boss world is. So we have to come back here in about 7 minutes. And we got runners. That's like the worst enemy type. One of the worst elites and one of the worst normal enemies at once. Ooh! Oh! Oh goodness. Okay, that was almost really sick. If I kept going, I could have like covered the whole map. Elite spawn increase because elites give you 10 times the XP and higher chance to drop chests. So more elites just means you can scale faster, even though it is harder. No! Okay, that wasn't ideal. Eefy's good. Oh, no, 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 please no, please no, please don't kill me. Okay, that's decent for heals. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. For sure gonna die. Oh, these runners are the worst. Yeah, I literally just can't charge things with these runners. If I do charge a charge shrine, I'm going to be able to heal. But at this point, I just really need... I don't even have a green item to microwave. I can't dupe. Okay. Can I get one of these? No, I just need a weapon, dog. Nope. This heart will help. What was this? I don't know what that was, but I need to just flip a U. Six minutes. We'll hit a... Slurp is good. That gives me survivability. That's not good. Okay, fine. Okay, I really just need a weapon now. Please give me a weapon. I don't have a weapon. I don't have an extra jump. At least I have shield, but this is not a good swarm. Oh, not this runner, not here, anywhere but here. Okay, that worked out. Oh good, a speed power up. The only power up that doesn't do anything to help me right now. Except help me run to my death faster. Okay, please just give me another weapon. What is this? What are these level ups? I need an extra jump. I need more weapons. Oh, goodness. What was that jump? What's that? It's a magnet. Right. Dude, I can't one-shot anything right now. Give me a weapon. Oh, not the big guys. Not the Shreks. Anything but the Shreks. I literally just need a weapon. Oh, you are not doing this to me, game. There's a purple microwave. This run would be crazy. Oh my goodness. I'm for sure dead. Oh, no. No, 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 no. I could not get that power up. Please give me a weapon. Brother.